and in this video we are going to discuss the basics of C Sharp and object oriented programming from week 1 to the upcoming weeks, and we are going to cover the basics and the fundamentals which we need to know as a software engineer. And according to the SIT 232, the basic functionality of the C Sharp and the things we can perform, we should know that. So this is a video where we are going to discuss all of this. And first of all, in this language we have this is a language called C Sharp, just like the C++, but little syntax difference. And object oriented programming we are going to discuss in this video. So here we have a class program which is needed for our project or the program to run. So first of all, if we want to like print out on the console, here is the console. Let me tell you that how to write it on the console. Something like, here is the console and dot right line in the functioning build, and we can write it something like hello world in it, and here we start, and it will print hello world here. So it is automatically like debugging it and doing its all the stuff. And here is to how to write something, or we can store in a variable. And variable are of different types, like int, var, char, um, double, int, float, string, and etc. So we are using int for example, and first the data type, then the name of the variable, then is equal to, if we are assigning anything value or to it. And then a semicolon is very 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 important in this C sharp programming language. Every if you have written a line which is complete, and after then you need to tell the compiler that it is already completed and move to the next line. Okay, and here is the assigned value, and we can fill this value inside of it, where it will be printing the value of s, which is a variable in this scope, in this main method. And int is the data type of it, which is storing the whole number only. Here we are trying to do this, so it print 120, that is correct answer. And we can also use I need to tell you something, that var is also a, like, var in this, like, you create a variable of this, uh, let's I say Google, and it's a variable, and is equal to, if I say string, and then I say semicolon. So the var, what it does is, like, if you assign any value to it, like Google is equal to 120, that's okay for it. But we can't do like this. We can assign a single variable which is going to be stored in Google, and then we can print it. Like, it will be automatically get its type. We do not need to tell it is a string or something like that. Like, if we console dot write line, then put in Google, and then run it, it will be showing the string and then 120. The string is here. It will automatically check what the data type of this which we are assigning here. We need not to tell it is a string or int or something. If I tell it 120, it will print 120 twice, because it's a 120 for the s and 120 for the s, where we can use for various functionality, where we don't know the data type which the user is asking, or inputting in, so we can use it there. What if we want the user to like uh, give the value to it? So read line, sorry, read line, and we can have it, and this will take only string. So what if we want to take take the value from the user? Then we will tell the user to console dot write line first, like, enter your name, and then it is a console read line which is going to read whatever the user enters, and put it into the Google, and a variable which we have created of the var type, and then it is going to print it. So it will first do, like, enter your name, I say Ripudaman, and here is the printed Ripudaman name, and 120 for the s. So it is the basics of the basics which the C sharp is going to have it. Now we have the conditional statements, which is if, else, and else. If, like, we have to create a variable for it. If s is equal to 120, we can apply, like, statements like conditional statements. If s is equal to 0, then do this. If s is greater than 100, then do this. If s is greater than 100, print then print um, s is greater than 100. else if we use else if, it happens like if condition is satisfied, it will not check the else if condition or else condition which we are going to write it below that. If we write it if again, then it will check it for again. It will check the if this one statement again. If the if is successful, this is going to check this also. If the if is successful, that it is not going to check this one statement here. So s is less than 100, console dot write line, then s is less than 100. And else we can write, in else we do not give any condition or something. If this all doesn't happen, then this is going to happen, which is, sorry, right line. There is a difference between the right line and the right. Let me tell you that right here. And if the, now what is going to be satisfied, s is equal to 120, so it is greater than this one. And if it's s is 100, now it will show this one only. Let us check that. Wrong input, because we applied a if here, it is not satisfied. Then it checked the else if here, it is not also satisfied. Then from this will execute. If we do not apply this one, let's say we have commented it, and then only that is covered there, because it is already satisfied. This is not going to check these statements. If this is not satisfied, then it is going to check these also. So this is a multi-line comment actually, the slash and the star, and ending it like that. A single line comment is like this one, double slash else. Then we have loops, which is very important in this all the languages, and this is the syntax for it. Plus plus actually. Then we are going to print whatever the loop iterates I. Now what it is going to do, for loop is, we have the power or ability to iterate the loop as many times as we want. So what we do is create a local variable I, initialize it to 0, and check if it is greater than, every time it checks if it is greater less than 120, which is the value of s, checking from here. And then after each iteration, increase the value of I to by 1, increment it by 1. So what it will do is 0 1 2 3, it will print it out to 120 like this. From 1 to 120 is not satisfied, because we check here I less than s. So 119 is satisfying this condition, but the 120 is equal to s. So if we write here less than is equal to, then it's going to do the wait, like that. And this is, we're going to for the 120. And this is the for loop actually. And we have a while loop actually, which is goes like this. You can put any condition in it if you want. It is greater than this, and decrease the value of x by 1, and then console write line like this. Print the value of s every time the loops iterate, and here we go. And it is going to reverse it like 1. If it doesn't show, the debug it please. We are doing it on the Visual Studio. Oh, we need to put the, while you are debugging, you need to write here read line so that it stays there for a while, and we can check the output. So it's from 120th to, because we are decrementing the value of it, so it is checking and checking the condition. When it the condition falls, and it comes here after that. What if we want to check another condition in it? If s is equal to 10, 10, then get out of this loop, then we will use break here, right there. Okay, and we will use a break here. So what break will do, when this condition satisfies, the s is equal to 10, it is going to print the 10, but it will came out of it and shows or ask for the value from the user, and the program ends. Let us check the value. The value 10 is not there, because see here, suppose the value of it was decrementing, right? So 120, then 100, then 90, 80, 70, 60, 30, 20. It was 12, 11. So if it was 11 here, oh, अच्छा, वो चलेगा नहीं. And it is going to, show the 10th value now here. It is so what it will, let me comment this one here. And what it will be do it, the while loop first check the condition. If it is satisfied, that then it goes in and perform the action. But what it does is, first is perform the action, then check the condition. If s less than 110, and then we are going to decrement it, minus minus. So what minus minus does is decrement every time it passes through this, it decrement it by 1 and updates its value, like 120 initial, 119, 18, 17, like this. And we're going to write line s, which is going to give us the right answer. So like this, and it is going to print out. And what this do while loop do is, 120 initial value, then right line it will show the value 119. If this condition is satisfied, that will again do this iteration over and over until this condition is false. So it is 101. After that, what it does is decrement the value. It is equal to 100, so it pass through this and come here. Next, the flow is changes. So this we can also apply this also here for this break actually, and we can do it like 115, and then break, and then we'll stop at 116. So that is how it works. There is also a loop, another loop which is very important, and most of the students are unable to understand it actually. So which is for each. So what it does is, wait, let us do this after the arrays section. Now we have this single variable which stores only one value, whether it is any of the data type. We have another like things like array, which is series of these variable, which is created like this. So we tell it how much values we want, and we need 10 ints in a, like we have a line of 10 people, and we are storing each value in a single, like as in a variable. This is an array. Array is like a collection of these of these variables, and in a row, and it contains 10 elements in it. This single array contains 10 element in it. We can do it like 10,000, or we only need 10 right now. It is a fixed, but the vectors we studied in 102 were not fixed. We can increase it, just like the list we will be doing in next. So we can iterate it through that, and what we can do is uh, assign value to it. Like we assign values like this. At the index of 0, the 0 is the starting index, and the last index is 9 actually. So starts from 0 to 9, it's 10. So that is how. So we are assigning value like this. 15. So at the index 0 we have 10, at 1, 11, 2, 15. So these are values assigned to the indexes we created in here. So it will be showing us if we check for int I is equal to 0, I less than. So we are going to do the 3 I plus plus. So console write line, and we, so this is the index section here. You put the index of this, and this will return the value at that index. So run this, and we will have 10, 15, and 10, 11, and 15, which we assigned earlier. So this actually stores multiple values in a single variable at different indexes actually. So we can store multiple values in it. As we have 10 values assigned, we can assign 10 values in this particular ARR array. Okay, we also have the 2D arrays also like this. So we, that is a little advanced, and we are basically covering the basics. You can also do that. And further, we were doing for each loop. So for each, what it does is, like, int, we assign here the int. We can do that float, double, anything which you like. It will be doing the same thing. But what it does is ARR contains multiple values. Instead of going the index wise, it goes like from 0 to the another index and stores the value in this. It starts from 0 at the end of the loop, and if we go like this, and we write here ARR, sorry, we are not actually writing here ARR, because the value of ARR from each index is assigned to the I, which is a local variable created in this particular for each loop, which will have the value of ARR. After each iteration, it will shift to the next index. So it is going to print the same, but it will show an error if we do not assign any value to the other. Also, for then, so I'm going to give it a 3, because we are only having 3 values. We need to give the all values to it. The otherwise it will show error because the value is not assigned to it. The same thing it does there. So it was going through the every value. So we can write it value. So I was saying that we have a difference between write and write line earlier. So what write does is, it do not moves the cursor to the next line, but the write line, after completing this and printing this, moves the cursor to the next line. So here is the output, the value, and then the value. We can assign a little space here so that it is clearly visible. The value, first going to close this. So here is the 10 and value 10, 11, 15. If we change here 14 and close this one, and is the 10, 14, and 15, the values updated. So it stays in the line where it was here, and after printing the I, which was the value 10, it moves to the next line here, and then to the next line here. We can use it, very functional, can be used in multiple things. Then we have lists. So what list does is, it is also like array, but it is the syntax of it, and name given here, data type here, and list is a keyword for it to create. New is for assigning this particular, like we also use new here. So it is like allocating the space and memory for this particular variable to perform. And list do not have any like fixed number of size to it, so it allocate automatically the size, and when we update it, the size automatically updated. And here is the data type and the constructor it is using right here. A list is the like uh, already created a class, and we are just creating a variable of it here and using it. The in array we assign the value like this. We in list we also assign the value like this, but we assess the value like this but assign it like list dot add and LNS. That add function, what it does is it adds this element at the end of the list at any index which we want. Like if initially it doesn't contain any value or something, but after assigning s we can assign list dot add. We can have 10, right, and then 14 and something else which we want, 15, and then and if we want to print it, just make a for loop for it and list and assign the value. Like it contains a default function list dot count, and it counts and returns the whatever how many values we have inserted in it, and it is going to iterate over it after and after for it. And if we check the value, we will get 120, 10, 14, 15, which is this. We added the value here. And what if we want to remove it? Just like remove at 0. So remove uh, at 0 index, it is removed. So check the value. Sorry, if we pass the value here, remove at works well here. So removes the 120th element which was at the index 0. Provide index here in remove at. But if we want to remove particular, like we do not know the index of that, but we know like value is 14, so it is going to do the same thing. The 14 and 120 are removed. So earlier we were using the remove, and 0 do not it doesn't contain 0 in this instant, so it was not removed and doesn't show any error because it was already executed. But but if we write here this or s, it also works fine here. There are also many functionalities you can perform, like list dot, and here are the function we can explore, and it will give you all the uh, ups and downs and how to use it. Or if I want to use clear, sorry, clear dot clear, it actually tells us what it does. Actually what it does is it clears all the element and remove all the element from it. So it says remove all the element from the list, so it will remove all the element and do not iterate it. That's it. No contain values. No values it contains. Okay, after the list and array we have. Okay, what if we have all of this and we say arr is equal to nothing here. We just we created here 5 and we iterate it, say here, and in arr it will iterate up to 5 indexes because the index is 5 and the maximum storage. We do not assign any value to the third index and the 4 index here. This is particular for catching the exception and printing something like error arises or whatever the developer likes, what you like actually. Wrong error somewhere. Okay, and it will, there is no error actually. Why? There is no error actually because the arr at 3 is assigned a default value which is 00. Okay, so that is actually how it works. So we have gone through the, we are doing the catch and try, and in this we can do it, and we uh, create a variable named index and assign it 11 because we need an exception. For example, arr, and we will type here 11 and assign this value to another number, and then we can console.writeLine this number. Then it will give me an error and show it like that. Let's see, error somewhere, and it is because we are assigning and at an index which we haven't created it. If we type here 12, this will work fine, but if it is not, we haven't allocated that space and it do not create that index for us, and we are assigning that index which is not yet created into some variable, and then printing it, it will show an error. You can say here, and you can perform like x2 string, rather than you can also do that x dot message. This will print the name of the error or tell you something about it. So index was out of index bound of the array. It will tell you about that index was out of array because 11 is not the index we have it created yet. This was about the try and catch. You can use it anywhere which you want. And here is the block of code in which it will check the error and it will show that here. Catch it here and do this here. Okay, then up next we have classes, which is very important topic. And let us create a new class here, which is we create a class like this class, and name of the class new, let's say. And then class is like a blueprint of something, just like a car company. Suppose a class is a car company, and the products are its objects, and the car will contain all the blueprints, like the company contains, like it creates the tires and engines, all of that stuff, and perform multiple actions like accelerate, deaccelerate, brakes, and all the stuff. It is a class, and the objects are the car. The car is the object. So I will create here int. We have private, public, protected, uh, like keywords for us to, like we can say here private. What it does is it will private this class, so we cannot use if we create another file here. Let us create another file. Add new file, new.cs, and it is created here in some time. So it is here. We cannot use that particular class. The name of the class was new, and if I write here public, public is like we can use it anywhere we want, where this file exists, where this test file exists, where you create this file. And name of the data type, sorry, the name is in string, and the name of that, and we can assign it. And then showing error because element in the name, so do not exit private. I cannot use that actually, because we need to use it all over the program. So public, we can use it here now. So how to create it? Wait, let me create it new. mm, Static main. Let me copy it from here. Static void main. Okay, we have another arrow here, and if I create that new and capital, right? Yes. So new, and the name of the yes means name, and new this one. So it creates an object of this because it is public. If it is private, it is not going to do that for us. It is not allowing us because the elements in the name, so it cannot explicitly private and protected. It cannot be because we have to use this anywhere else in the program, and private is like we can only use in this namespace and not anywhere else. So we are using it public here. By default it is public. That is why not showing any error. And then we can give it like private int number, which is actually giving it the object any number. This is these all the values will be inside of an object will be creating in this here. So this is a constructor actually. New, I told you, for unsigning and allocating the space for it. This is the class name for which this object is creating. The name of the object is yes, and new, the bracket, this is the constructor, which, let me tell you what a constructor is. While creating a new object of the class, we need a constructor for it to assign all the values to it and allocate the space what it will contain actually. So we can create a constructor on our own that will look like public new, and then like this. Then we will, this is just like a method actually. So string name, and then int number, we cannot have same names as these one, because it will not work fine. And we can give here the parameter, and which is going to do which is going to assign the values to it. We are actually here and assigning the values of name from the parameter which is gives. And we can create a new variable, so it is like as showing error because we need to give two arguments in it. It is asking for name and int, as you can see here, name comma int. But we can also do it by creating another constructor. We can create as many constructor as you want, as it's your wish, up to you. And we will blank it, and just like that, do not assign any value. If you want to assign default value to it, you can also do that by like this, Ripudamam, the something, this name new, the name of the object. We can do this, you can also do that. And now I'm going to create a new object named hello is equal to new this. And in this I'm going to assign the value which is hello, and the number is going to be 122 and thing. And we are going to actually print it, so we are going to check the values of it. Right line, and here we have yes. So yes dot, for this is an object, and dot you can get all the inside it, like we have a name here. So inside of the class we create an object which is going to provide all the information which we have here. Dot name, that is how we access name, number, as you want. So dot private we use here, we cannot use the number there, but we can create a property of it, of the number, which is going to give the number of it, or we can set it also. That is called as get and set property. What it does is, we can will going to do it number and int number. The name should be different if you have created it. You can also do like this, just comment it and create this, but that is a private, so we are going to use it further in this program. And that is how you created this number. And we can also, the get returns the value which the value contains in it. If you want to only get, you can also use that. You can also use set also, which will also set the value. So we are going to use both. That's up to you what you want to use. Dot name, and then console dot hello dot name, and then console right line. And then we are going to use yes dot number, the capital one, but the smaller one is not available because we have made it private, as you remember. And then the hello dot number, and we are going to check the value of it. It is going to, why it is showing any error, let us check that. It is saying program has more than one entry joint defined main. Okay, we have created actually two mains in it. One is the this one, so we need to close one. So let us close this one actually, because we don't need this right now. So comment it and went into this, and this will run. You can't have, in a program you cannot have two mains, you need to work on only one main actually. So it is going to, first we have yes dot name, that is yes, the default value was Ripudaman I assigned here, as you remember, Ripudaman, which the constructor used. Okay, and then we have the hello dot name which was assigned here, and yes dot number is 202, which is the number. And there is no hello dot yes dot number, we don't assign any number here, as you remember. We assign a number here which is 0, and run it again, and this is going to show us the number, the 0. Okay, that's all correct. Then you can create methods also in it, as we have, as we can also create in this program also, just like. And the method inside of this class will be assessed using the object only. You cannot assess it without any object. You can assess it making it a static inside of this. Let's see how we create it. We create it in this static public, and then void. The public will be, wait, uh, and then this one here. Sorry. Okay, and then it that is giving namespace cannot be directly fetch method, so it is going to show the string is here and a semicolon, do not forget it. And we can actually direct call it that it is showing error namespace cannot directly contain member as a field method and statements. Let us check it here, and we are going to wait. Inside of this we need to place it inside of it because a class will contain the method, not a namespace here. And we are going to call it that here. Actually we need a main to call it. Okay, so we need to, and we are going to comment this all and remove the oh wait, how, oh we commented all, sorry. Okay, this is here and not showing any error. If I run it and comment this one actually, because you cannot run two mains in it, and here will show an error by showing error. Modifier public is not valid for this item. Okay, this is going to work it. Now run it, and this is testing it here. This do not need, the static ones do not need any object or something and using dot operation and then call it. They are just like operated, and whatever you have it, do not create any object for it. But the methods which we are going to create inside of the new one will need an object, as we are going to do it right now. Public void add, just say what it is saying, number plus plus and name is equal to string, and yes it is assigned the name to it, and this is going to update it actually. So we are going to close this one actually, uh, and comment it. Okay, okay, so uncomment this, and I am using control shift and the black slash, the slash, for commenting the selected, control shift and the left button from the right shift, that is the slash is using it. So I am going to update that. We need an object that is hello dot add, we here add, and then wait, we have an argument here which we are going to pass it. We don't need number because we are not using it here, so let me remove it. Just need name. Okay, let me, because we can't have the same name here, and me is assigned to name because we have a get set function. And name of this, it is showing error because it does not exist, and because we do not create any property for the name for, so we are going to use the same name as we create above this one right here. So in this dot add, and we need a name which we are going to pass it, that is so it is going to update the value, and then we are going to print it, which is hello dot name, control C and V, which is going to work as perfect. It is printing not hello, it's printing reposaman.end, as we have updated the value of it right here. and this was the class which we created. We can create multiple functions with parameters and as much as we want. Here we have a polymorphism topic, which is very simple. Just we need to have, we can create actually same name but different parameter in it actually. So number is equal to num, so it will update the ad. You can name it anything you want. Update, let's say update, and update this also. It will automatically update the object, and here will show error because we don't have add here. Update, and we're going to update this also, the hello dot update, and then we are going to give in the value 120 actually, let's say 170, and then console dot number, this one, which is the number we are going to update here. And it is going to work because it is a polymorphism, which is same name but different arguments or parameters which we are passing in. It is a int, it is a, you can pass in multiple, let's say string name. It is going to show error there because we don't have, we haven't assigned it yet. So run it, we are going to have is 170, which we assigned it over there. Here 170, the value given to it. This was polymorphism, a little intro for that. This was a class. As we have as we were doing work on the 6.2 and 7.1 p task and c task, we have a transaction class, and we were using the abstract. And before that we need to do something. We are using, okay, let's see, we have a function here. Let me remove this all. We are going to do simple thing. We have like public void m1 here, and this is a method one, which is nothing, we are not passing anything to it. This is just printing console dot write line m1. It's a m1. Okay, let me zoom in a bit, and so here you can see. And we another have public void m2, which is another method. We are console dot write line, this is a m2. Okay, so we have created these two. Let me create another class. You can name the class as you like. Then we are going to create the same console write line. That's the, it's new, not a. This will tell the class, which class we are using here, and m1, and we are going to create another public void m2 console write line. It is going to give some suggestions, but that's, you have to check whether it is right or not, or whether you need that or not. Okay, we have here. Let me create these. Let me remove all of this, and we don't have the constructor there. So let me create this, and let me yes dot m1. Let me print this actually, and hello dot m1. Let me print this also, yes dot m2, and hello dot m2. Okay, let us see what is the output. It is showing new because the the object is new. Okay, let me change the object to the and the here. So what it is going to do, let us check the output. It will execute the m1 for new, for this particular. This will execute the m1 for this particular object. So the output will be the new, the according to the we have printed it. But what if we are inheriting it? We can use this class for this actually. how we can inherit it. What is inheritance? That is a simple concept, but used in various different algorithms and programs to perform different actions, which is it actually easier. There are multi type of inheritance, but one in this we are using. We are inheriting new. This is the base class. This is the derived class. The class is using new class object can use their object also. If we are writing here over virtual virtual virtual, okay, if I made it virtual, that means is if we call object of a new, then it is going to work as it was working earlier. New m1 is going to print. But if we inherit the new class to the dir class and we have m2 with the same, and we use override here, it is going to override this m1 function for when we are calling the object in it, and it is not going to print this one right here. If we print m2 here, it is going to print this one because there was no virtual over here. Okay, it is going to, this one is going to override this function right here. Let us check the output. The one will be the same and another will be different. The m1, because we have m1 override, it is already override, but it was virtual and you do not override it, it will going to show the same output as n new one. Now let us check if we do not override it. Okay, see the m1 and m2, it is going to go the same memories. You can also do the hello hi is equal to new and new, this one, because it is an inherited class. You can assign like this actually. New hi is equal to new, the, because it is an inherited class, you can use the base derived class and object assigned to it. It is going to work as fine as that earlier m2 actually. And see the output here at I dot I dot m2, it is going to show the output and it will show the new ones because you give it to it and assign no value to it. But if we do the override, and it is going to assign us the value of that particular method. See, new m2 because it was override, that is why it is showing that to us. After then, and one more thing, that we can also create functions like public int and m3 actually, and it is going to give a return type, which we have already used that same number. And we can also assign it value here, and it is going to return int of this, and we can use it here for the new function. So create a new object, new is equal to new this, and I dot check the name of that m3 and m3, which is the capital one. The name should be same and it is going to assign. But if we don't put it inside of the console write line, we are not able to get the output right because it is not printing actually in the same phase as we did it earlier. It is going to now print it the 11520 as we did it there. We also can use it for the string. We can also one more thing, what if we want the whole object to print it, and we want to actually print the name of it, like print this object. So new, we can also return a whole object for this. New and object, right over there. Okay, object is a keyword, so obj we will do that. and this is showing error because we haven't returned something yet. So we are actually updating the value of name. Okay, so this dot, this is for the object we are referring and we are doing, because we are referring the object the we will for which we are calling the obj function. Object dot name is going to be sit232. It is going to set the name and return this. You can also return the name and change the data type over here, but what we are going to do, hi dot, what we create obj and then this, and assign this to this, assign this to another one. Actually we will create another object for this particular example, and we will say right is the new, sorry, new and this, and we can assign this to right here, and it will print as fine, and dot name, perfectly fine. See, SID232 updated, which we did it there, assign the value to right the object. You can whole return the whole of that, and this is signifying the object we call it using this one, the obj hi is the object it is referring over there, right? You can use it as your program works and as per your functionality. You should always use try and catch everywhere where you are referring to or flow is maintaining. And we have covered till week 7 actually. So